Oh, they've already called for, the Senate has called for a supplementary budget from the president.
That's for emergency. For emergency. I'm talking of infrastructural development to checkmate future occurrence of flooding.
Let's talk about the after effects. I mean, the flood has happened now. And you know, you've recommended steps to be taken as palliatives for those affected by the floods. Let's look at the effect of the floods. I mean, you think in those areas, first of all, those who have investment there, you think the houses will be inhabitable again? What about the farmlands that have been lost? Are we looking at a famine in the coming year? Because it's not only Kogi that has been affected. We've also seen a host of other states that are largely agrarian also been affected as well. What should we be doing to mitigate the effects of these floods we've seen?
Makwe, I don't want to sound overestimating the effect aftermath of this flood. I want to give example of India. India is worst east when it comes to flooding, because they have 46% of their population affected. Our own is just about 19 or 20%. Now we should be looking at property being destroyed. Those houses that are submerged, they can't live there again. They have to look at the strength. If not, they will be collapsing. The road, the bridges that are affected, they have to test their strength. Now let's now look at the health implication. The waterborne disease, we should be looking at what do we call it now? Epidemics. Because most of the waterworks, the water, the storm water can as well mix with the surface water that they treat. So because what we treat for consumption now in Nigeria is surface water, and this storm water is going back to the river, and it will add more to the pollution level of the river. So it will go into our waterworks, and it will cost taxpayers more money to treat the public waterworks. So we should be looking at health implications. So you budget too much for health, you budget too much for agriculture, you didn't budget for environment.
There's a ripple
and
effect.
all these things have happened within the environment. So that's why we have to take the issue of environment very seriously.
No, those are the dams you were talking about. That well, we could as well have some other smaller dams, just in case we open the bigger ones, and we have the waters hold up in such dams. And you say they also cost a lot of money. But if you were to give your advice, how many would you say we should start off with? Like 2 or 3?
No, the Ministry of Water Resources have identified their own area where they want to construct buffer dam. I think they are thinking of one that we withhold the water from the dam being released at Cameroon. I think they are putting one along that Taraba State, or along Benue, between Benue and Taraba State, which is okay. But they should be proactive. They should go on their table now and start drawing, give the design out, look for the money, and try to see how they can prevent it within the next 5 years. I give you an example of Lagos. When you see World Bank and all these agencies, they are not that expert that what they are doing that we cannot do. I did a World Bank report for Lagos in 2005. They were trying to get a grant. Lagos they were giving the grant $200 million for water improvement. And the World Bank team are saying, if we give you $200 million for water improvement, there will be problem of wastewater. So there is need for us to design 10 years master plan for wastewater management.
Let's quickly see this other issue. If the water is released, do you channel it, or do you control the water, or you let it find its own level, as they say? Because I'm trying to picture what happened in Cameroon. Was it channeled to come to Nigeria, or would they have been able to make it come back into their own country?
Everybody have sovereignty, and you have control over your sovereignty. Cameroon have designed their own dams, and they will look at the floodplain, and they look at the gradients of the topography of their area, and look at how the water could flow that will not affect land and properties and human population. So they've designed their flood. We have our own floodplain. There is floodplain just opposite you here for Ogun River. Go and see what is happening on the floodplain. That's where you have caras, or what do they call it? And you can see slum growing up just along the floodplain. opposite this station that I'm talking to you, just the other side of Lagos Ibadan Express Road. So these are kind of management we're looking at. Keep floodplain free. Don't allow anybody to develop on floodplain.
That's where state's coming.
That's where state comes in. And the environmental management involves synergy between state, local government, and the population. I give you an example of responsibility of the entire public, individual. When they say don't throw refuse on drainage channel, you throw refuse on drainage channel. Don't build your house or near canal or floodplain. You build your house near canal or floodplain, and you are blaming government for that.
But sometimes, how do they get approval?
Yes, that is where the state and the government and policymaker to head. You ask them who gave approval, and most of these people don't even get approval. They will just go and build, and they will say, "Is it not Ministry of Fiscal Planning? I will know somebody there."
So sometimes, in spite of the warning, they don't.
So we all have responsibilities. We are all stakeholders in taking care of the environment.